Back to Gaza now, where the Israeli ground offensive will likely begin either overnight tonight or perhaps overnight tomorrow night. The Israelis prefer to use the cover of darkness because they do have an advantage on night vision over Hamas. Just off the coast of Gaza is the USS Gerald R. Ford, America's newest aircraft carrier, and her battle group of destroyers and escort ships. There is no country in the world that can project force like America. The carrier battle groups are the tip of the spear, yet Hamas says they aren't scared, and the U.S. administration must realize the consequences of this step. That struck us as curious. Congressman Mark Green is here, former Army Special Operations Flight Surgeon, now chairman of the Homeland Security Committee. It's good to see you, sir.
Good to see you, Leland.
I get saying, like, we're not scared. I don't quite understand the consequences line.
I think the reason Hamas isn't scared is they are holding our hostages. They have Americans in the mix. And they think that's a leverage point for them. But who knows? I mean, in the I'm the chairman of Homeland Security. In the 1.7 million known gotaways, how many Hamas people are in there? I mean, Secretary Mayorkas can't tell us that. Clearly, we've had an open border now for two and a half years, and who knows who's here? So sure, I mean, it's very concerning.
Yeah, well, and you've talked before. We're showing pictures about military-age men, whether they be Chinese,
sure,
Venezuelans. We've caught people on the terror watch list. It only makes sense to think that they're people who are not on the terrorist watch list.
They're still looking for ISIS folks that we know are here.
Wow. All right. So much has been made about the attacks in Gaza, or in Israel from Gaza, as an intelligence failure. A huge part of that was underestimating what Hamas was able to do, therefore underestimating what the Iranians had been able to teach them. Who is to say that there's not more unknown unknowns, to quote Donald Rumsfeld?
Yeah, there absolutely there could be. And the problem is we don't have anyone thinking of the possibilities. We have 20,000 Chinese nationals, military-age men, coming into the United States, being released into our country, right? And they're not thinking that perhaps the Russian model in Ukraine isn't being mirrored here. I mean, they can't use their imagination to figure that out.
I think you don't have to use much imagination, though, to watch what some would call protests. You can call them rallies, whatever you want to call them, of the pro-Palestinian groups. And these are people carrying signs that are calling for the annihilation of the state of Israel. State of Israel is the little Satan. We're the big Satan.
Sure.
How is it that these are not surrounded by FBI agents? How is it? We'll get to the media coverage in a minute. But I'm wondering if this is not the face of what may be the next attacks.
Well, again, you go back to the unknowns, right? But we do know, what we do know is the FBI tracks many of these individuals with ties back to, either Hamas or Hezbollah or ISIS, any of the groups, Islamic Jihad. We track all of those, and those people, some of them are even surveilled. So who knows if these people are someone that is in that group or just folks that maybe Iranian disinformation has manipulated in the U.S. We know that's happened before, too. I mean, the Taliban even recruited Americans to go over and fight for them. So, yeah, good to see you.
Good to see you, sir.
Yeah,
Thank you very much. Thanks for watching. Go to NewsNationNow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.